Okay, so I want you to picture a scene for me, just for a second.
All right, I'm with you.
You're in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The air's thick, the lights are bright, the crowd is just screaming. You're on a dance floor, and the adrenaline is just coursing through you because you've just set a Guinness World Record in tango.
Okay, that is a very specific and very cool image.
But here's the kicker. While you're there, soaking all that in, back in the U.S., everyone at your job thinks you're at your desk.
Working one of those, like, 14-hour days.
Exactly. Grinding away at a supplement company.
Which is, I mean, that's impossible for 99.9% of people, right?
Yeah.
You can't be in two places at once. You're either grinding or you're setting a world record in tango. The rules say you have to choose.
Exactly. But the man in that tango suit was Tim Ferriss. And the twist isn't that he was, pulling a fast one like Ferris Bueller.
He wasn't just skipping work.
No. He had engineered his entire life so the work just happened without him.
And that really brings us to the book he wrote about it, The 4-Hour Workweek. I mean, this book just split the business world in two when it came out.
Oh, absolutely. Some people see it as like the holy grail for living your life. Others think it's just a scam, a manual for being lazy.
Right. So today, our mission is to sort of strip away all that hype, the good and the bad, and just look at the mechanics of what he calls lifestyle design.
Yeah, because his core argument is that we've all been sold this script.
He calls it the deferred life plan.
The deferred life plan. You work 9 to 5, or let's be honest, it's more like 9 to 9 for 40 years. You save every penny, you sacrifice, also you can finally retire at 65.
And when you say it like that, the problem is so obvious. By the time you get to the prize, you might be too old, too tired.
Or just too set in your ways to actually enjoy it. It's like saving your appetite for this huge feast, but it's only served when you're 80.
Which is why he offers this alternative. He calls it being one of the new rich, or NR.
And it's not about having $1 million in the bank, right?
Yeah, not at all. It's about realizing that real wealth is a mix of time and mobility. Freedom, really.
He has this great joke about how hard this is to explain to people. He says when he's at a party and someone asks, so what do you do? He just says,
I'm a drug dealer.
Yeah. Because the real answer that he works 4 hours a week and makes more money than he did working 80, it just takes too long to explain.
People's brains just can't compute it. They think it's a lie, or he's a trust fund kid, or it's illegal.
It just sounds too good to be true. It breaks that hard work equals success formula we all learned.
But he breaks it down into a recipe. It's an acronym, DEAL.
DEAL. Definition, elimination, automation, and liberation.
That's our roadmap. So let's start with DD for definition. This is where we have to break all the rules we were taught about what rich even means.
And the biggest rule he breaks is how we value a job. We're trained to just look at the salary. Jane makes $100K, John makes $50K. Jane wins. End of story.
In absolute income, sure. But Ferriss introduces this idea of relative income. And this is where the math gets really interesting.
Okay, so Jane makes her $100,000, but she's, say, a lawyer working 80 hours a week.
Right. So if you do the math on that, what does that break down to? About $25 an hour?
$25 an hour. Now, John, he makes $50,000.
Half as much. Seems like he's losing.
But he set up his life so he only works 10 hours a week. Maybe he's a consultant or something.
So he's making $100 an hour.
Exactly. In terms of the actual value of his time, John is 4 times richer than Jane.
And that's the whole mind shift. We always forget about the time we're spending, the denominator in that equation.
We just see the big number, not the life we trade for it.
Ferriss calls this the freedom multiplier. Your money is basically multiplied by how many W's you control, what you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom.
Jane has the money, but zero control over those W's. John has half the cash, but total control. He can work from anywhere.
Right. But getting to be John, I mean, that takes risks that terrify most people. Quitting that stable job.
Oh, yeah. It feels like jumping off a cliff. We are wired to fear the unknown.
Which is exactly why he suggests this technique. It's called fear setting.
So instead of setting goals, you define your fears. You visualize the absolute worst-case scenario.
And you write it down. Be specific. If you quit your job to start that online business, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? Rate it from 1 to 10.
And most people's minds jump straight to, homelessness, living under a bridge.
Yeah, a total 10 out of 10 disaster. But when you actually force yourself to write it out, the nightmare is usually just, temporary.
You might burn through your savings or have to crash on a friend's couch for a bit.
Right. Maybe you have to bartend for a few months. It's a 3 or a 4 on the pain scale. It's almost never a permanent, life-destroying catastrophe.
But we treat it like it is. We treat a career change like a death sentence.
Meanwhile, what's the risk of not doing it? What's the risk of staying in that soul-crushing job for 40 years?
That's a guaranteed 10. Permanent unhappiness.
Exactly. We'd rather be miserable but certain than take a chance on happiness.
It's this idea of being unreasonable to break that cycle. He tells that story about his Princeton class.
Oh, this story's fantastic. So he challenges these super smart Princeton students to contact a huge celebrity or CEO, think Bill Clinton, J.Lo, heads of Google.
And get a response.
Right. And the prize is a round-trip ticket to anywhere in the world.
You'd think they would be all over that.
Not one student even tried. 0.
Wait, really? Why?
They all just assumed the competition would be insane. They thought everyone else is going to be trying, so I don't have a chance. They psyched themselves out.
Wow. They defeated themselves before step 1.
And it proves this point perfectly. The competition is always fiercest for the realistic goals. Everyone wants that middle management job.
But almost nobody is competing for the unreasonable goals because they don't even think it's possible.
It's paradoxically easier to do the big things because the field is empty.
Okay, so that's definition. Change the math, define your fears, be unreasonable. That gets us to E, elimination.
Yeah, this is where we stop managing time. Ferriss really hates that term.
Because time management usually just means finding clever ways to do more stuff you shouldn't be doing in the first place.
Exactly. It's about being faster on the hamster wheel. He makes this distinction between being efficient and being effective.
Efficiency is doing a task well, even a useless one. Effectiveness is doing the right task.
Right. He has this great quote, "Doing something unimportant well does not make it important."
I think we've all spent a whole afternoon formatting a PowerPoint that no one will ever read. We felt busy, we were efficient, but we were completely ineffective.
To get out of that trap, he uses Pareto's law, the 80-20 principle.
80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts.
And this wasn't just theory for him. He was running that supplement company, working 15-hour days, just drowning.
He was completely burned out.
So he audited everything, and he found that out of about 120 customers, just 5 of them, 5, were bringing in 95% of his revenue.
That's an insane ratio. 5 people paying the bills and 115 others just creating noise.
Oh, it gets worse. He then looked at who was causing all his stress, and 2, just 2, very needy, high-maintenance customers were the source of 98% of his problems.
So the move is obvious, but it must have been terrifying to do.
He fired them. He actually called them and said, "I can't serve you anymore."
Wow.
Then he put all his energy into finding more customers like his top 5. And the result? His hours dropped from 80 a week to 15, and his income doubled.
That's the definition of working smarter.
Yeah.
But even if we know what to work on, there's still the problem of procrastination.
Yes, Parkinson's law.
Work expands to fill the time available for its completion.
100%. If you have a week to write a report, it'll take you a week. If your boss says they need it in 2 hours, you'll get it done in 2 hours.
So his strategy is to use really short, almost impossible deadlines to force your brain to just focus on what's critical.
Exactly. Now, another part of elimination that's, well, it's tough for a lot of us, is the low information diet.
This one hits home. It's about cultivating selective ignorance.
Yeah. We're all addicted to information. Ferriss says he hasn't watched the news or read a newspaper in, like, 5 years.
And a lot of people hear that and think, that's so irresponsible, you have to know what's going on.
But his question is, does it actually help you? Or is it just noise? Most news is negative, irrelevant to your day-to-day life, and completely out of your control.
He suggests a media fast. Just 1 week, no news sites, no TV news, no endless scrolling. Cold turkey.
Cold turkey. And instead, you practice getting just-in-time information.
Meaning you only learn what you need for the specific task you're doing right now.
Yep. Don't hoard information just in case. It just clogs the system.
And speaking of clogging the system, email.
The ultimate interrupter.
He treats email like laundry. You don't wash one sock at a time, you wait and do a whole load.
You batch it. He only checks his email twice a day, noon and 4 p.m. That's it.
I can literally hear people listening to this having a panic attack. My boss would fire me if I didn't respond in 10 minutes.
And that's a real fear. But this is where he uses something called the puppy dog close.
It's a sales technique, isn't it?
Yeah. You let a customer take the puppy home for the weekend because you know they'll fall in love and never bring it back.
So in the office, you ask for a trial period.
Exactly. You go to your boss and say, "Hey, I want to try an experiment for just 2 days. I'm going to check email only at 11 and 4. I think it will help me finish this big project faster. If it doesn't work, we'll go right back to normal.
It's really hard for a manager to say no to a 2-day experiment that promises more productivity.
And then when you get 3 times more work done because you're not being interrupted every 6 minutes, they usually let you keep doing it. You've sold them the puppy.
Okay, so we've defined our goals, we've eliminated the waste, now it's A for automation.
This is where you start to replace yourself. The goal is to build systems that run without you, even if you're an employee.
We have to talk about the A.J. Jacobs experiment from the book. It's just hilarious.
It's the perfect illustration. So A.J. Jacobs, an editor, decides to put this all to the test by outsourcing his entire life to a team of virtual assistants in Bangalore, India.
And not just, like, data entry. He outsourced his marriage arguments.
He did. He had a fight with his wife, so he had his VA, a woman named Honey, draft an apology email for him.
And she actually made it better.
Way better. She made him sound sweeter and even added an e-card with hugging bears. It totally worked. His wife forgave him.
He even outsourced his worry. How do you outsource worry?
He was stressed about something, so he literally asked his assistant to worry about it for him. She agreed to spend 20 minutes a day just worrying so that he didn't have to.
That is just another level of delegation.
But there's a really critical rule here that Ferriss stresses. Eliminate before you delegate.
Never automate something that can be eliminated.
Right. Don't waste money making a useless process more efficient. Don't hire a VA to sort your junk mail. Just unsubscribe from the junk mail.
This section also brings in geo-arbitrage.
Which connects right back to that relative income idea. If you're earning US dollars but living somewhere like Thailand or Argentina, your money goes so much further.
He said his breakfast in Buenos Aires was, what, $4? And an Indian VA costs $4 to $10 an hour.
So he's spending a breakfast to buy an hour of someone's life. It makes it almost impossible to lose money.
But for any of this to work, you have to let go of control. You can't be a micromanager.
He learned that the hard way. He was checking every single little thing his assistants did. He was a bottleneck.
So he made a rule.
A simple rule. If a problem costs less than $100 to fix, just fix it.
Don't ask for permission.
Don't even email me. Just solve it. He empowered them. His email went from hundreds a day to basically 0 overnight. Turns out most problems are small and people can solve them if you let them.
Okay, so D-E-A. That brings us to the final letter. L for liberation. The payoff.
This is about what you actually do with all this new freedom. Because if you just quit your job to sit on the couch, you will go nuts. So he has a process called dreamlining.
It's like goal setting, but he says the target is different. We usually aim for happiness.
Which is vague, it's bubbly. Ferriss says the opposite of happiness isn't sadness, it's boredom. So the goal for the new rich is excitement. Chase things that excite you.
And dreamlining applies cold, hard math to those exciting dreams.
You actually calculate the monthly cost of your fantasy lifestyle. Let's say you want to drive an Aston Martin. You think you need $1 million in the bank to do that.
Because that's what rich people do. They buy Aston Martins.
But do you need to own it? No, you can lease it. That might be, what, $2,000 a month? You want a personal assistant? $400 a month?
He calls it TMI, your target monthly income.
Right. And when you actually add up the cost of these millionaire behaviors, the number is often shockingly low. It might only take an extra $3,000 or $4,000 a month to live this incredible life.
You don't need the million in the bank, you just need the cash flow.
It totally shifts your mindset from having to doing. You don't need to have the Ferrari, you just want to drive the Ferrari.
Okay.
And that makes the impossible feel, well, possible.
Okay, so let's just recap the journey. From defer to new rich, you follow DEAL.
Definition. Trade the deferred plan for mini retirements. Elimination. Use 80-20 and cut out the noise. Automation. Build systems and outsource. And liberation. Do the math on your dreams and then go live them.
It all sounds great, but I know what a lot of people are thinking. I'll do this someday.
And that's the biggest trap. Ferriss says the timing is never right. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. Someday is a disease that will take your dreams to the grave with you.
So you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Which, speaking of, he has that comfort challenge in the book.
Right. If you want a little test, try this. Go into a coffee shop, find someone, and just gaze into their eyes.
Just stare at them.
Yeah. Don't look away until they break eye contact.
That sounds absolutely excruciating.
It is. Or try asking for 2 phone numbers from attractive strangers in a single day, not to get a date, but just to get over the fear of being told no.
What's the point of torturing yourself like that?
It builds a callus against social pressure and rejection. If you can handle the awkwardness of that, you can handle negotiating a remote work deal with your boss. You realize rejection isn't fatal.
That's a challenge I might have to work up to. I think I'll start with batching my email.
Well, just remember the quote he uses from George Bernard Shaw. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself.
Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man.
Be unreasonable.
The message is clear. Define your nightmare, fire your bad habits, and stop deferring your life.
Start today, even if it's just a tiny step.
There you have it. That was our deep dive into the 4-Hour Workweek. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.